By what name are you known?
There are some who call me... Tim?
Welcome to another episode of Timmy Talks, the channel where we talk old school magic. And today we are in Utrecht for DadBodCon, the championships. And this is a tournament where we play Magic the Gathering 1993. So we haven't added 1994. And what does that mean? It means we're playing with the core sets Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, and with Arabian Nights. And we have a lenient reprint policy, by the way. So you can play Revised, Chronicles, you can play all that stuff. That's fine as long as it's the same art and the same frame. But remember, it's only 1993. So the only expansion you can play is Arabian Nights. So core set and Arabian Nights. And what's also interesting to note here is that City in a Bottle is banned. So we're not going to see any City in a Bottles. Now this is a first round match that we are going to look at between Tristan and Björn. Tristan is playing a Troll Disco deck with Guardian Beast, so it's pretty cool. And he's taking on Björn, and Björn has this deck. It's kind of 5 colors, very little black though, and very little red, but still 5 colors. And he's playing with, I wouldn't say good stuff, it's like big boys. It's got Force of Nature, Shivan Dragon, it's got some pretty cool creatures, but more about that in the deck tech section of this video. But before we start with the deck techs, first a quick message from our sponsor, 341 Trading. Let's start this new year with a blast, because 341 Trading is having a New Year's sale. All their high-end singles, full sets and out-of-print sealed products are 5% off, and they also offer free worldwide shipping on all orders over $500 or euros. So what are you waiting for? Visit their online store right now and check out that beautiful old school Magic cardboard that they have for sale on their website shop.341trading.com. Enjoy. Well, maybe first check out this video and then visit the store and enjoy. Anyway, have fun ordering cardboard, and thank you 341 Trading for sponsoring this video. And we are back and ready to dive into those deck techs. I've got lovely deck photos of both decks, and I'm going to start with the player on the left, that is Tristan. Let's take a look at his Troll Disco deck. And here we see the deck of Tristan. So first of all, a lovely deck photo, Tristan. And I have to say, I'm really liking this deck. This is a Troll Disco deck at heart. And what does that mean? It means it's built around Nevinyrral's Disc and Sedge Troll. That's kind of a classic combination in old school. Nevinyrral's Disc, the powerful artifact for 4 that comes into play tapped. But when it untaps, you can pay 1 and sacrifice the disc, or the disc destroys itself, I should say, to destroy all the artifacts, enchantments, and creatures. So it destroys everything except for the lands, right? But what if your creatures have regeneration, like the Sedge Troll? Then of course they don't die, and that is why Sedge Troll and Nevinyrral's Disc is such a good and classic combination. And then you see other creatures that work really well with the disc. The first one I want to highlight is Rook-Egg. So Rook-Egg is an 0/3 creature from Arabian Nights. When it gets destroyed, when it goes to the graveyard, you get a 4/4 flying bird token in your end step. So you actually want this creature to die. You want it to be destroyed. So that's why it works so well with the Nevinyrral's Disc. And then of course there are also 3 Guardian Beasts in this deck. So this is kind of a Troll Disco Guardian Beast deck. Guardian Beast is such a powerful creature, a 2/4 creature from Arabian Nights that reads, as long as Guardian Beast is untapped, non-creature artifacts you control can be enchanted and they have indestructible, and other players cannot gain control of them. This effect doesn't remove auras already attached to those artifacts. I'm reading the current Oracle text, by the way. So that means when you have Guardian Beast in play and you use your Nevinyrral's Disc, the Nevinyrral's Disc does destroy the Guardian Beast, but because the disc has indestructible from the Guardian Beast, it comes back into play tapped. And of course, all your other non-creature artifacts cannot be destroyed by your disc. So the Guardian Beast makes the disc even better. And then there's another artifact that Guardian Beast works together with really, really well, and that is of course Chaos Orb. Chaos Orb, you know the card, you can flip it, you can destroy a permanent on the side of your opponent if of course the flip succeeds, and after that the Chaos Orb destroys itself. But if you have Guardian Beast in play, it doesn't destroy itself because it is indestructible. It comes back into play tapped, and the next turn you can use it again. Untap it, use it again. So then every turn you can destroy a permanent on your opponent's side, which is a big problem for the opponent. So Guardian Beast is really, really good in this deck. Then there's another card that I would love to highlight. I'm really excited, Tristan, that you're playing with this card, and that card is Cabal Ghoul. Cabal Ghoul is just one of the coolest cards in old school, in my opinion. It's 1 black and 2 for this creature zombie. It's now a zombie that reads, at the beginning of each end step, put a +1/+1 counter on Cabal Ghoul for each creature that died this turn. The cool thing about this card is that it already works when it's in your hand, and let me explain why. If you have your disc on the battlefield and you pop your disc and you destroy, let's say 3 creatures in total, and after that happened, you play your Gabagool. The Gabagool sees those creatures that have been destroyed even before it was in play. So it already works when it's still in your hand. Isn't that crazy, right? I mean, that's what I love about old school. Because it says at the beginning of each end step, put a +1/+1 counter on the ghoul for each creature that died the turn. It doesn't say it had to be in play when that happened. So you can pop your disc, then you play your ghoul, right? And then, of course, it gets all the +1/+1 counters for all the creatures that got destroyed. So it's a really cool way to kind of make use of that weird ability of Gabagool by combining it with an Evanrol's disc. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game, and I'm hoping, Tristan, that you can show us the Gabagool Nevanrol's disc synergy. That would be really, really cool. Very cool Dan Fraser Dragon Swamp, by the way. Okay, so this is the deck. I digress. This is the deck of Tristan. Now let's take a look at the deck of his opponent. And here we see the deck of Björn, and this is a 5-color deck. Well, he's got 1 black card, right? So it's 5 colors. And normally I would say 5-color good stuff, but the interesting thing here is that Björn decided to use all the power and all the restricted cards to play big creatures. And you know, Björn, I appreciate that. I like that. I love watching big creatures hitting the board, turning them sideways, trying to win through combat damage. I really like that. And you've got some really cool creatures in your deck. 2 Forces of Nature, Mahamoti Djinn, Shivan Dragon, so 4 really big boys. And then you've got some of the bigger creatures with a really good casting cost, and that is Surrender Befried and Erhnam Djinn. I mean, you get so much bang for your buck with those creatures. And of course, they're Arabian Nights, so they really fit this tournament. And then you also have 2 clones. I think clone is really cool. You can, of course, clone your Force, clone your Modi. You can do some really fun stuff with those cards. And then besides playing with those creatures, you also have some ramp in your deck, right? 2 Llanowar Elves, 4 Birds of Paradise, of course, all the Moxen, the Black Lotus, the Soul Ring. So this deck is really good at getting a lot of mana really fast. What are you going to do with those mana? Play out big creatures, turn them sideways. I appreciate that. You're also playing with 1 Disintegrate. That could be quite a good finisher in this deck. And there's one card that I want to highlight, and that is the King, King Suleiman. What a cool creature, and how useful this King could be at this tournament. Not in this matchup, though, because when I'm looking at the deck of Tristan, I'm not seeing any Djinns or Ifrits, because what the King can do, you can tap the King to destroy target Djinn or Ifrit. I mean, how cool is that? And remember, cards like Old Man of the Sea now have the creature type Ifrit, I believe. Or was it Djinn? I always mix those 2 up. But anyway, it's an Ifrit or a Djinn. And just tell me in the comments. And you can now destroy it with your King Suleiman. So the King could be useful. Again, not in this matchup, but I understand why you're playing it main here, Björn. I think you're probably going to run into a lot of Surrender Befrieds, Jusum Djinns, Erhnam Djinns, Surrender Djinns. So I'm sure it's going to be useful for you. But unfortunately, not in this match. You're probably going to board it out after game 1. Okay, so this is the deck of Björn. We looked at the deck of Tristan, and that means we are ready for round number 1 at DadBodCon. Here we go. Game number 1 here. We've got Björn on the play. He's playing a 5-color deck with a lot of big creatures like Force of Nature and Shivan Dragon. And he has taken a mulligan, so he has to choose what he wants to discard. And his opponent is Tristan. That's a player on the left. He's playing Troll Disco. So a deck with Sedge Trolls, Nevanrol's Discs, but also with Guardian Beast. And my personal favorite, Gabagool, is in the deck as well. But let's first see what Björn does. Turn 1 here, Taiga into Birds of Paradise Classical Opener. Now let's see if we're going to see a Bolt the Bird here in turn 1 by Tristan. Playing out the Underground Sea, so he's not going to bolt. Unless, of course, he's got a Mox Ruby as well. But we can kind of see that hand. We see a Gemday Tome in there. We see a Guardian Beast. I saw some blue cards in there. And there we see Björn just playing a Savannah and passing. Second turn here. There's a Volcanic, it seems. Yep, Volcanic here for Tristan. Also has a Mana Vault, I believe, in hand there. So could deploy the Mana Vault. There we see it. So Mana Vault, an artifact for just 1. You can tap it for 3 mana. And then you can untap it during your upkeep if you pay 4. If you don't, if it stays tapped, you take 1 damage from the Mana Vault. There we see a Mox Ruby. So I wonder if we're going to see an Erhnam here. Tapping 4, playing with 4 Erhnam Djinns. There we go. Erhnam Djinn, 4/5 powerhouse from Arabian Nights. And I think we're going to see a lot of Urnham Jins today. Because remember, this is old school 93. Meaning we're playing with ABU and Arabian Knights. And we see Tristan here playing a Ancestral Recall on end step of Björn, drawing 3 cards. There's a Time Walk in there as well. And a Shivan Dragon. Ooh, that's cool. There's a City of Brass by Tristan. Is he going to deploy that Shivan, or does he have better options? Remember, he's also playing with Nevinyrral's Discs, so that could also be a good option here. Tapping 4. And there it is, the Nevinyrral's Disc coming into play. Tapped, of course. Does have the Time Walk. Could play Time Walk and then use the Disc next turn. So he's going to take a damage here. I'm expecting to see the Time Walk. There's the Time Walk. And Björn's like, yeah, what can I do? Have fun with your extra turn. This is, of course, what blue power can do. So he's going to untap the Disc. And it's very tempting here for Tristan to use the Disc straight away, destroy the Birds of Paradise, the Ruby, and the Urnham. And, of course, he's going to lose his Mana Vault, but it's tapped anyway. And Tristan dropped to 18, by the way, because of that Mana Vault. He's now in his first main. Going to play an Underground Sea. Could, of course, also decide to just pass the turn here. Okay, going to tap 4 instead. Oh, there's a Rook Egg, so he's going to try to get more value out of his Disc. This is very, very risky, if you ask me. I think I wouldn't have done this. Because if Björn now has a Disenchant, okay, here we see Swords to Plowshares on the Rook Egg, kind of indicating that he doesn't. But if he has a Disenchant here, he can Disenchant the Disc. And because Tristan has no mana left, he cannot, in response, activate the Disc. So it's quite a risky play, in my opinion. There's the attack here with the Urnham, putting Tristan here on 13. Untap, upkeep. Is he going to take a damage from the Vault? Looking at his hand, I see a Shivan in there, and the other cards I can't really identify. I believe a land there. Taking a damage from the Vault, dropping to 12. Finding a Psionic Blast, I believe. Okay, there's a City of Brass that he can play out. So playing out the City. And the question now is he going to blow up the board? Going to tap 4 first. Going to take another damage. Going to drop to 11. Or not. Changing his mind. I mean, if he has another Rook Egg, now would be a great time to play it, right? You can play out the Rook Egg and still have a mana open for your Nevinyrral's Disc. If you can do that, I would personally play the Rook Egg and then immediately pop the Disc in your own main. Why? Because you then deny Björn of 2 mana, because you destroy the Birds of Paradise and the Ruby. But Tristan choosing not to play out anything, passing the turn. There's the combat. Probably now going to destroy the Disc. Yep, that makes perfect sense. It's going to destroy everything here. And now Björn only has 3 lands. And it looks like he's just passing the turn. Yeah, this is really good news for Tristan. There is that swamp with the Dan Fraser art, the dragon. Very, very cool. And he can actually play out Shivan Dragon. Does mean he would take 2 more points of damage, drop to 10. But then again, you have a Shivan. Is he going to do something else? There's a Guardian Beast. Okay, so he was thinking about playing Guardian Beast and then popping the Disc. That would mean the Disc would come back tapped and you could use it again. But it would also mean you would keep your own Mana Vault that was hurting Tristan. So I get this line as well. Guardian Beast, of course, a 2/4 creature. Besides having a really good ability, it's just a 2/4 body as well. So you can kind of attack and deal some damage with it. There's a quick Swords to Plowshares though by Björn. So Tristan going 2 points up, going to go up to 14. Tapping 4, maybe another Guardian Beast. Nope, there's a Gemday Tome. And interestingly enough, he's not playing out that Shivan. I would be so tempted to just play out that Shivan. Tapping 6, what are we going to see? Maybe a Force of Nature. That would be really, really cool. Mahamoti Jin hitting the board. Björn's hand's empty though. And that's going to be a problem for Björn. No cards in hand, completely tapped out, but he does have a Papamoti on the board. And I guess, I mean, Do you want to draw a card or do you want to play out a blocker? I think I would go here for Shivan Dragon. Unless, of course, he has Control Magic somewhere in there. Not sure if he plays with Control Magic, by the way. I don't think so. I know that Björn plays with 1 Control Magic in his first 60. So we see Shivan Dragon, I believe a Lightning Bolt and a Psionic Blast. So could also decide to go for Bolt Psionic Blast, spend 2 cards on killing the Modi. It's gonna tap 1. Is that what he's gonna do? It's gonna go to 13. Okay, I think he's gonna go for Shivan Dragon here. It's a little bit in the tank still. I mean, there's something to say for both lines. Because yes, you spend a 2 for 1, but then your Shivan survives, and now I think you're probably forced next turn to kind of block the Mahamoti. Although force, you're on 13. Anyway, let's see what's gonna happen. Shivan Dragon here being played out. Really cool board state if you ask me. Mahamoti versus Shivan. There's the attack. It's kind of nice how Björn does it, you know. And he's gonna use the desert style points here, using the desert to deal 1 damage to the Modi, then blocking. And it's going to save him a point of damage. It's actually the right play to do, but it's nice to see Desert kind of being useful. And I think we're going to see a lot of Deserts at this tournament. And Björn here drawing a card, or Tristan drawing a card for turn, going up to 3. And I mean, he's got the book. He's in a really good position now. Going to use the book. 3 cards in hand. Going to tap 4. We're going to see a Guardian Beast. Nope, there's a Rook Egg. Now remember, I believe he has a Lightning Bolt in hand, so he could bolt it at the end of turn. So I guess he doesn't have a Lightning Bolt in hand. Perhaps it's another card there. I thought that red card was a bolt. I know he has a Psionic Blast, so he could also, of course, Psionic Blast his Rook Egg. Ooh, there's a Disintegrate. Now Disintegrate removes the creature from the game, so it's not going to work on the Rook Egg. There's the pass. Untap, upkeep, draw. There's another Volcanic. Another card being drawn. Passing the turn again. I mean, Tristan is allowing Björn to kind of get back into it. Then again, of course, Tristan has that active book. He's drawing twice as many cards, so he should eventually, win it if this continues. Oh, there's a Control Magic. That is really funny. And now, of course, in response, now he's going to bolt in response. Wow, so it was a bolt, but this Tristan was being very, very patient. I mean, I get that logic of Tristan as well. Tristan's like, you know what? I'm drawing twice as many cards as you. I'm fine with the situation that we're in. And if you're going to do something... Oh, look at this! Timetwister! That is so cool. But what I wanted to say, like, the idea behind Tristan's, thought process is, I'm drawing twice as many cards as you. I'm fine with the current situation. And if you do something, I can always use my Lightning Bolt at instant speed, which is exactly what he did. And it looks like Tristan's going to fire off here his Psionic Blast. Exactly, going to fire off the Psionic Blast. Probably going to kill the bird, right? Although he's got enough mana sources, could also go for the life total. What would you do in this situation? Let me know in the comments below. He is going to go for the life total here. Björn dropping to 13. And I'm liking this Timetwister, because this is going to give Björn a full grip of cards again. And I believe that he didn't play out a land yet, I think. So an ideal scenario for Björn would be here to draw into a blue source and of course a Time Walk. And then you can get an extra turn. That always feels so good after a Timetwister if you draw into a Time Walk. You've got to be lucky, of course, but it does happen from time to time. Here we see Björn shuffling up. Both players offering to cut, but they don't. You have to understand, everybody kind of knows each other here in the old school scene. I'm going to look at the 7 cards. So I'm expecting to see a land drop here at least. Or did he already drop a land? That could also be the case. Yeah, there's a Mox. I won't say yet, there's the land. No, there's a Mox. Mox Emerald hitting the board. And Björn here thinking about what land to play out. Yep, there's the City of Brass. Are we going to see a Time Walk here? Is there a Time Walk in his hand? Nope, there's a Disenchant. Really, really good actually, because that can take care of that GM Day Tome. The problem for Björn right now is, of course, that 4/4 Flying Bird. And attacking the life total here with the Lightning Bolt. And there's also an Ancestral Recall. Wow, really, really nice. 7 cards drawn here. There's more direct damage in hand. And he's going to untap here, and I think he can finish it attacking with the 4/4. Still has to draw for turn. Attacking with the 4/4, putting Björn on 6. There's a Disintegrate, winning game number 1. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with Timetwister. Sometimes you're giving your opponent a really good hand. What can you do? It was the right decision to make at the right time in the game. So, you know, luck is also part of old school Magic, of Magic in general, of course. But yeah, this is just the first game. Tristan winning here the first game with the Troll Disco deck. Now both players are going to dive into their sideboards, and we will catch back up with you in game number 2. Game number 2, here we go. Björn, of course, on the play after losing that first game, starting with the Taiga. There's a Sapphire. Chaos Orb, pretty nice opening for him. Let's see what Tristan can do in his first turn. First drawing a card, Guardian Beast there. Braingeyser in hand, I think a Gabagool, and I also see a Lightning Bolt and some lands, I believe. There's a bad lands hitting the board. Passing the turn back here to Björn. Let's see what Björn can do in his second turn. There's a Volcanic Island. Oh, Old Man of the Sea coming in from the sideboard. And you can tap Old Man of the Sea to take control of target creature with, I believe, power less or equal than Old Man. Or was it toughness? I believe power. But really cool to see these cards. And that's, of course, what you're going to happen when you organize a tournament like this with only ABU and Arabian Nights. You're going to see a lot of those cool Arabian Nights cards, which is probably what the organizer, David, wanted. There's the Gabagool, talking about cool cards of Arabian Nights. And I kind of see what Tristan wants to do here. He's saying, you know what, steal my Ghoul. I've got a Lightning Bolt in hand. I'm going to bolt your Old Man of the Sea. And then the Old Man's going to die. The Ghoul's going to see that, and it's going to get a +1/+1 counter. So there's, of course, Björn stealing the Gabagool. Probably also thinking, why is he allowing me to kind of get this creature for free? And there we see a Badlands, another Badlands. I'm just expecting him to pass the turn here. He wants to keep at least one red open to do the Lightning Bolt trick, passing the turn. So deciding not to play it out yet. So I wonder when he's going to play out the Bolt. There's the attack with the Ghoul. And now we see the Bolt. And I believe this means that Tristan doesn't take any damage. He just gets instant control of the Ghoul as soon as the Old Man dies. And of course, he gets a +1/+1 counter at the end of turn. And I believe that both players are kind of now looking at, okay, how does this work? Are you still going to take a damage from the Ghoul or not? I think the answer is no. And look at that, they're going to look it up. Tristan getting his phone and looking up the rules here. It's always good to check. So as you can see, I made a little cut here in the video. So at the end of the day, they came to the conclusion that the Ghoul goes to Tristan's side as soon as the Old Man dies. So Tristan is not taking any damage. And of course, it gets a +1/+1 counter on it. And now, I guess we can resume checking the current Oracle text, which is always a good thing to do, by the way. Because a lot of these cards have updated Oracle text. And this is usually how we solve things in old school. If you see, hey, something is happening and you're both not sure what happens, you just get your phone out, check it, or ask in the room. And there we see thumbs up from Björn. And I wonder if Björn's going to do something else. It's still his turn. Going to go into second main here after combat. But I guess Björn is passing because we see that counter on Kabagul. So Kabagul is now a 2-2. I really, really like seeing this creature in action here. There's the attack with the 2-2. Putting Björn here on 18. And he could, of course, play out that Guardian Beast. Maybe he doesn't want to because of that Chaos Orb. Gonna tap 4. There's the Guardian Beast. I mean, it's not a bad trade, right? I believe Tristan's playing with 3 Guardian Beasts. And you can just say, you know what? If you want to flip on it, flip on it. And let's see what Björn can do. Now remember, he is playing with 4 Surrendered Befriets and 4 Urnip Djinns as well. So he can play out both of those creatures with the mana that he has available. Yep, he's gonna flip the Chaos Orb on the Guardian Beast. Oh yeah, and at this tournament you had to do naked flips. Meaning without sleeves, that's another rule. And you could flip with your DadBodCon card. So they're just flipping with this card. It resembles the Chaos Orb. And it's really hard to do a naked orb flip if you're not used to it. I actually hit 0. I had 0 hits. They're checking the altitude, by the way. Oh, very good flip by Björn. This is impressive because what I want to say, I had 0 hits at this tournament because of the naked orb flips. I'm just not used to it. And I should have trained. And look at this, another counter on Kabagul. Oh, this is so cool. It's now a 3-3. It's really cool to see this ghoul getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Kind of reminds me of when you play Super Mario Brothers and you eat a mushroom, right? You get bigger. We see a 3-3 Kabagul. There's a desert. Tapping 6. Are we going to see a Shivan? Oh, there's the Shivan Dragon again. Ay, 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 ay. It's getting really, really bad here for Björn. Needs to find a balance and a white source. That's really a way to get back into it. Not a white source, a Mox Jet. Now he is playing with the Shivan Dragon himself as well, but of course needs an extra mana if he wants to play that out. Gonna tap 5. Okay, there's a Braingeyser. Gonna draw 3 cards. Hopefully finding something useful. He's on 15. We see a COP red there in hand. Doesn't have the mana to play it out though, passing the turn. So he's gonna take a beating here. Tapped out completely, passing the turn to Tristan. Tristan finding a city. I believe he's got a Braingeyser in hand as well. But maybe he just wants to deal as much damage as he can. I think that would be a better strategy. So he can deal 8 with the Shivan. Then 3 of the ghoul, taking 11 points of damage. So he would drop to 4, I believe. Could also use his City of Brass to deal an extra point of damage. Ooh, he's got a Fireball in hand as well. I think he just misses 1 point though for the Fireball to work. Gonna pass the turn here. I would have been tempted in this similar scenario to not pump the Shivan, but just play a big Braingeyser. Because you're going to need another turn anyway to win. But first, of course, there's one last turn to go for Björn. Does he have a balance? That's the question. Ooh, COP red. Okay, so the COP red can protect him from that Fireball and also from the Shivan. So that's going to buy him some time. And the Birds of Paradise as a chump blocker. And he's going to pass. I mean, I still feel like Tristan is in a really good position because he has that Braingeyser, can play a really big Braingeyser. And of course, just attack with the Gabagool. Look at that. Also having a Psionic Blast. I think the Blast is enough to win it here, but it's going to attack first with both creatures. And there's the Blast. Okay. For a moment, I thought he's going to wait to see how Björn's going to block. But that never happened. Winning it here with the Psionic Blast. A good, convincing 2-0 victory here for Tristan. Congratulations, Tristan, for winning the first round match here at DadBodCon, the Old School Magic 1993 tournament held in Utrecht, the Netherlands. And if you enjoy this tournament, make sure to subscribe to Timmy Talks. Hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. because I will be showing you more action from DadBodCon for the upcoming weeks all the way to the finals. This was just round number 1, but I've got all the matches for you all the way to the finals. So if you don't want to miss a thing, make sure you subscribe. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you for supporting the show. Please take a moment to like, share, and comment on this video. All these things are free and really help the channel move forward. Talking about moving forward, you can also become a patron of the show. Check out patreon.com/TimmyTalks for all the information.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. Early in the morning, put him in the longboat until he's sober. Put him in the longboat until he's sober. Put him in the longboat until he's sober. Early in the morning, way hey and up she rises, way hey and up she rises. She rises early in the morning. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Pull out the plug and wet him all over. Early in the morning. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises. Way hey up she rises early in the morning. What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Put him in the scout to the husband's son. Put him in the scout to the husband's son. Put him in the scout to the husband's son. Early in the morning, way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises, way hey up she rises early in the morning.
Igitus figitus sumba kazik.